Welcome back. Recently, I got a great email and I wanted to share it with you. I am mentoring Navy SEALs and Special Ops guys who are looking at inward focused practices like mindfulness for use both in training, field, and for veterans to overcome PTSD or other traumas and tribulations. I have shared your website and YouTube channel with them and would like to know what is the best sequence to watch the videos. Fantastic. So let's look at a very down-to-earth approach to meditation using heart rate variability, the 4 proofs, the Holy Trinity of breath, and rescue breathing. So this is a very, very practical approach to meditation. And when you plug it in, you see, we want something that we can plug in that will not fail, that it works every single time you come to it. So that's the kind of reliability that we want to build in meditation. And it's a skill. We have to build the skill and we have to understand how it's working more or less so that we can keep working it correctly and hone it into a sharper and sharper skill that we have in our toolkit. So let's get into it. So the first step, of course, is going to be heart rate variability resonant breathing. And what we're doing is we're establishing resonance between the heart and the breath. Normally, the breath goes in and out and the heart beats up and down, and they're just kind of disjoint, right? They go through their own flows and they are not in resonance. They are totally opposite of being in resonance. And the more that your heartbeat becomes a flat line of consistency, now that sounds like it should be good, right? Consistency, a flat line of consistency. Actually, it means that the heartbeat is brittle. And somebody who is in that heartbeat of a consistent state is most likely in a heightened stress state. And so they're not in a flexible state, which means maximum capability for adaptiveness. And that's what nature loves, flexibility and adaptfulness. And when the heartbeat is steady, it's not doing that. And so we need a heartbeat which is flexible. And that's what's happening in resonance. The breath and the heart start to move in resonance. And when that happens, the breath rate will lower and elongate, and the heartbeat will also lower. So you'll have a little high, it'll come up as the breath comes in, and as the breath goes out, the heartbeat will go down. So now you have a heartbeat which is traveling in resonance with the breath and is flexible. So that is what nature loves, flexibility and adaptfulness. So how do we do that? Well, to do it, I'm going to give you 3 rules. And this is kind of unique because if you look out there, you won't get these 3 rules unless they're getting it from me, which is wonderful. But those 3 rules are going to corner us into making sure that we can establish this resonance. So the first rule is to put the breath under 7 breaths per minute. So what does that look like? You have to put your in-breath at 5 seconds and your out-breath at 6 seconds. At a minimum, that's the beginning threshold. If you can breathe longer than that, that's wonderful. So then you try 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out. That's the second place that you can enter into heart rate variability. And the third breath that you can try is 7 seconds in and 8 seconds out breath. All right? Those are the 3 places to start. So breathe in, breathe out. That's the first one, all right? Here's the second one. Breathe in for 6 seconds. And breathe out. And the third one, breathe in. and breathe out. 8. So those are the first 3 entry breaths into heart rate variability. If you can breathe longer than that, comfortably and relaxed manner, great, try it out. And so the second rule is we're already doing all 3 rules, but the second rule is we're going to take out the pauses at the top and the pause at the bottom, because we want to gain momentum between this resonance. So to create that momentum, we have to take out that pause at the top and pause at the bottom. And we're really trying to accentuate that out breath, making it at least 1 second longer. And that's the third rule. The out breath has to be longer because we're reestablishing the parasympathetic system. We've been in a stress state, that constant heartbeat. We've been in that stress state, and now we want to establish the parasympathetic. We've been in the sympathetic, and now we want to establish the parasympathetic. And to do that, we have to have a longer out breath. That really, really helps, all right? Those are the holy trinity of breath that I teach on this channel. It makes it so easy. It boxes us into heart rate variability, and it ensures that we're going to get into it. We just have to maintain that breath for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and we're pretty much completely guaranteed that we're going to get into heart rate variability resonance every single time. And once you've practiced it, it becomes more and more reliable. You sit down and you sink right into that heart rate variability resonance so fast. And eventually you can do it while you're standing up, while you're sitting waiting for something, while you're in a meeting, while you're preparing for a conference, while you're preparing for a meeting, while you're preparing for a presentation. All of these places you start to throw in a little heart rate variability resonance right before demands are put on your system, and you find that you operate much more optimally because you're coming from this place of resonance and quiet and interiorization, because heart rate variability resonance is the beginning of interiorization. You cannot get away from that. That is 100% the place it has to start. So either you come from the mind and it creates resonance in the body, or you use the really big handle of the body to affect the mind. And that's the very, very beautiful, simple way that yoga approaches all of this. Yoga says, what's the biggest handle in the room? Okay, it's the body and the breath. Great, let me crank on that and see what comes out the mind. And that's what's happening in yoga. We're using the very biggest lever in the room to create change. And that's following the Holy Trinity. We crank that lever, heart rate variability, resonant breathing pops out the other side. We get into resonance every single time. Following those rules, you can't escape it. And so if you have a little bit of trouble with it, keep that out breath even a little bit longer, and that will solve the problem 9 out of 10 times. So when we do this process and we sit very still, which is what I recommend when you're trying to develop these things, when you're trying to hone them as a skill, sit down and sit as still as possible, because we want to notice the 4 proofs. And the 4 proofs are: 1, that the hands will get hot and heavy. Some part of the body, usually almost always the hands, will get in hot and heavy because we're stimulating the parasympathetic system. More blood is flowing, the arteries dilate slightly, and we have a galvanic skin response. As we retreat from the sympathetic system and we develop the parasympathetic, the skin will actually dry out. And that's why the hands get so warm or hot. Warm or hot, that's fine. If they're not hot, that's okay. If it's warm, that's perfect. That's the galvanic skin response that we're looking for. Hands hot and heavy, that's number 1 of the 4 proofs. Next, if you notice your lip, especially the bottom lip, it might start to tingle as the blood comes in and recedes. So that's a very easy thing to notice usually. And so it's a wonderful proof that you're entering into heart rate variability resonance. Third proof, we go back, we put our mind along the spine, all along the rib cage, from the heart to the medulla, that whole space. We want to put our mind on all of that, And the reason is that's where the dorsal vagal nerve is. It's all the way back, pressed up against the spine. So it's between everything that's in your rib cage and the spine. And as we elongate that out breath, everything is pressing up against that dorsal vagal nerve, and it's stimulating it. It's stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system every time. And so during all that pressure, you can begin to feel that stimulation, tingling. You might notice tingling. You might notice electrical sensations along the dorsal vagal nerve. It might feel a little bit ecstatic or joyful or blissful. And all of those are perfect. All of those mean you're noticing the stimulation of the parasympathetic system. Now, the fourth proof, we put our mind on all of the skin. And whatever part of the body is the most relaxed, you might notice it starts to tingle as well. So we get this tingling throughout the whole body. It might be on your face, it might be starting in your hands, it might travel up your arms, go into your chest, go down your legs. We don't know exactly where it's going to start because it's dependent on where you're relaxing the deepest. And as you do, you may begin to feel that tingling. All right? And those are the four proofs. And that means you're very, very deep into heart rate variability resonance. And so you look through your body, you try and check and see if any of those are there, and then you forget about it. You go back to your heart rate variability resonant breathing, maybe counting. Now, a lot of people don't want to count, but to get into the heart rate variability resonance, it's very important to count. Now, once you've noticed some of the four proofs, you can stop counting. You don't have to count continuously, but to just get into it, it can be very helpful to count and watch your breath, all right? So go back to the counting, watch the breath, make sure you're in resonance, and then go back to the hands, then check the lips, then check the dorsal vagal nerve, then check all of the skin. And this way we keep our mind roaming around inside of the body to notice that we are making progress, that we are having an effect inside the body, that our meditation is producing results, and that's going to prove to you that you can do this every single time. So now it's a reliable skill, very important. So those are the four proofs. They're all meditative mellows. They're all very, very blissful. Now they might start out small, but they can grow and grow and grow. And when they get really big, you're going to know what I'm talking about. They are extremely blissful in the body. This is the body bliss, and it's amazing. And it tells you that you are absolutely on the right track in meditation. Now, the fourth thing that I want to talk about today is rescue breathing, because this is such a great skill, and a Navy SEAL might come into some very stressful situations. We're all in a bit of a stressful situation this day, and the rescue breathing is such a safe haven. And so the rescue breath is very simple. We're going to follow that holy trinity of breath again, but this time we're going to really, really make it big and accentuate two parts. We're going to make the in-breath very short and the out-breath very, very long. So try that out anytime you're in a stressful situation and see if it doesn't automatically start stimulating that parasympathetic system. It's just a short breath in and a long breath out. Very easy, right? Short breath in, long breath out. And just like that, we really make sure that we accentuate that parasympathetic system. You're going to feel it. You can look for those 4 proofs. You can see if it's stimulating that dorsal vagal nerve. See if you feel that stimulation, if you feel the accentuation of that parasympathetic system. So it can take you from a very stressed state to a very relaxed state very, very quickly. So it's a wonderful skill, and it's all drawing on the same concepts. The same Holy Trinity of breath is in that rescue breath. These are the important things. This is the entryway that I'm giving you into meditation. This is the easiest and simplest and most reliable way to get into meditation, to get into the parasympathetic system every single time. That's what you want. You want something extremely reliable. The world is a crazy place. It's full of troubles. It's full of crises. It's going to be this way all the time. And we have to have something which is 100% reliable. And that's your parasympathetic nervous system. So that's what this is teaching you. It's teaching you your own, to connect with your own parasympathetic nervous system, which is 100% reliable. So there you go. Yoga for Navy SEALs. We can all take something very, very practical, make it our own, and have it as an essential skill, put it in our back pocket. Whenever we need it, we just pull it right out. No problem. Crisis, no problem. I will use my mind and I will use my heart to the very best of my ability, but hey, let me also use my parasympathetic nervous system. Just like that. Isn't that amazing? So I hope you love this. Yoga for Navy SEALs. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for your email. And if you love this, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next time.